I'm starting my Christmas window by using a Dollar Tree frame, 24 of the wooden skewers, some white acrylic paint, and some E6000. I'm only going to be using the frame for this project, so I'm removing the backing, the insert, and the glass. There are some little black tabs that hold everything in place, so I made sure that I removed them too. I'm attaching 4 wooden skewers on each side of the frame. The skewers are almost the same size, so I'm placing one against it and snipping off the end. And once I have my first one measured, I'm then going to measure 7 more. Once I had them all measured and cut for the length, I then measured and cut 8 for the width. With all the pieces cut, I'm now going to attach them to the frame using my E6000. I'm placing 4 skewers on each side. While I'm gluing the skewers to the frame, I wanted to give a big shout out to the crafting cousins, Trish and Kay. These 2 cousins have an amazing channel and they put together this super fun Christmas in July friend top. Once you finish watching my video, check out the next friend in the hop to see her fun Christmas projects. I'm going to link her channel below in my description. Once you have all the skewers glued in place, let it set up for about an hour. Once you turn the frame over, you can see the indentations on the back where the glass used to sit. I'm resting one of the skewers on the inside edge and then clipping it to size. I'm then cutting 3 more the same length. Once again, lying the skewer flat on the lengthwise, I'm going to cut 4 more pieces. I'm using my E6000. I found the center of the frame, top and bottom, and then I attached 4 of the cut skewers. I followed the same instructions on the length and attached my last 4 skewers. Once everything had dried, I used my white acrylic paint and I painted both the front and the back. I chose white for my window, but I'm sure a red or a silver or a gold would look really pretty too. You could prop this window up and I think it would look really cute, but I decided to add one of the little metal sawtooth hangers. I placed a dot of E6000 on both sides, then centered it on the middle back. To decorate my window, I'm using 5 pieces of the faux pine along with some pine cones and berries. I layered the pieces on top of each other and had them kind of drape on one side of the window. I took the last piece of pine, I folded it in half, and then I bent it around the corner. Once everything was in place, I used a piece of floral wire to attach the greenery to the top of the window. I then used my glue gun to secure all the pieces in place. To add my pinecone accents, I'm shortening the stems and then I'm hot gluing them into place. I'm adding a buffalo check bow to the window. I decided about how big I wanted my bow and I made 1 loop and then twisted the ribbon and made another loop and then used a piece of my floral wire to attach the bow together. I cut both the tails at an angle. I cut a short piece of ribbon and then hot glued the 2 sides into the middle. I then folded it over the front of the bow and hot glued it into place. With my bow complete, I added some hot glue to the back and placed it at an angle on the window. To finish up my project, I'm adding this sweet little cardinal. I snipped off the wire ends, used some hot glue, and attached him in place. I'm starting my snowman project by using 2 of the Dollar Tree white velvet pumpkins. I'm stacking one on top of the other, so I'm going to remove the stem from one of them. These pumpkins are kind of an off-white color, and I want a bright white snowman, so using my white acrylic paint, I'm going to give them both a good coat. Once my pumpkins have dried, I'm going to use my orange acrylic paint, and I'm going to paint the stem on the top, and this will be the snowman's nose. To cover the brown, I ended up giving it 2 complete coats. This snowman isn't going to have your traditional carrot nose. I love it because it's unique and it kind of reminds me of a farm snowman, maybe a chicken or a turkey. I just thought it would be really cute to paint the stem. I'm flattening down the end on the pumpkin where I removed the stem. Then using my hot glue gun, I'm gluing the 2 pieces together. To make his hat, I'm recycling this little plastic container. To embellish it, I'm using a leftover leaf, some little pine cones, and red berries that I had in my stash. To accent the brim, I'm using a strip of these old beads. I measured how much I would need, and then I just snipped it off. Then using my glue gun, I attached them in place. To embellish his hat, I'm going to cut the leaves in half, hot glue them on along with the pine cones and the red berries. I used some items that I had on hand, but you can find some really cute picks at the Dollar Tree. I decided where I wanted to place the hat on his head, and then I just secured it into place using my hot glue. I'm going to be adding some button eyes, so I found 2 black ones in my button collection. To give my snowman an expression, I painted 2 tiny half moons on the upper right corners. Once they dried, I glued them onto my snowman's face. If you don't have any buttons on hand, you can use some googly eyes or you can cut out some black paper. I'm going to add a scarf by using this black and white ribbon. I decided how long I wanted it, and then I dovetailed the ends. It looks so cute wrapped around his neck, and now I'm going to add some arms. I cut 2 small twigs from my lilac bush. I used my scissors to help punch a hole in both sides, and then I attached his arms. To finish off my snowman, I'm adding 2 square vintage buttons to the front of his body. I want to give this little guy some height, so I'm adding a base. I'm painting this little wooden box and this wooden snowflake white. Once my snowflake is dry, I'm adding a little gray accent to it. I added a little gray with my paintbrush, and then I rubbed it around with my finger. I'm attaching a foam snowflake to the top of my wooden snowflake to give it a 3D effect. Once they're attached, I'm adding a little black accent button to the center. I'm adding a thinner matching ribbon as an accent around the wooden base. Once all my ribbon is attached, I'm then gluing the snowflake to the front. With my base complete, all I need to do is hot glue my snowman on the top. For my third project, I'm making a Christmas bulb candle ring. I'm using a Dollar Tree mirror and an assortment of 2-inch Christmas bulbs. This is so easy. All you need to do is use your glue gun and attach the bulbs around the base of the mirror. I'm using the ornaments that I have on hand, but I'm sure this would look beautiful in just about every color. After you attach your first row, we're then going to attach a second. I'm attaching the bulbs on the inside this time, and I'm hot gluing every other hanger. To finish off the top row, I'm placing some hot glue between two of the ornaments. Then place your ornament between those two. When you're attaching them, they're not going to sit directly next to each other. One is going to sit a little more to the front and one will sit a little more to the back. If you had a larger mirror, you could actually make one of these and hang it on the wall. But because this is a candle holder, I'm going to make a glass holder for the center. I'm using one of the large glass cylinders of vases from the Dollar Tree along with some rubber bands. The technique to make this is so easy. All you need to do is place the rubber bands over the glass. When you're placing them on, you're going to try to keep them as straight as possible, but every once in a while one will twist just a bit. The wider your rubber bands, the more light that will show through after it's painted. I actually made two smaller versions of these in hydrangea blue in one of my past videos, and I'll link that above in case you'd like to check it out. Once all your bands are in place, you're going to flip it upside down so the opening is on the bottom, and then you're going to spray it completely with your spray paint. Now that my paint is dry, all I need to do is remove the rubber bands. Now you can begin to see where the candle light will shine from. I'm recycling some white Dollar Tree sand, and I'm just going to add it to the bottom of my candle holder. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to check the next friend out in the hop below. And if you haven't yet subscribed and you think you'd like to come back and hang out with me again, don't forget to click that little red subscribe button below. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.